The mist hangs low over St. Peter's Square, a silvery veil softening the grandeur of the Vatican's ancient stones. It is an April morning, heavy with grief, as thousands of mourners gather under a sky that weeps in quiet drizzle. The air is thick with the scent of incense and damp wool, the murmur of prayers blending with the distant toll of bells. At the heart of this solemn scene stands Lance Corporal Lucas Bowman, a Swiss guard in his vibrant uniform of blue, red, and gold, his halberd gleaming like a beacon in the muted light. His face, chiseled and resolute, betrays no emotion, but within him burns a purpose that will soon defy 5 centuries of tradition. Today, one guard will break the sacred stillness of the Vatican, and in doing so, he will change history forever. As the world watches, a single question lingers. When loyalty demands courage, will you stand still or dare to move? The square is a sea of humanity. Pilgrims clutching rosaries, world leaders in somber suits, cardinals in scarlet robes, all united in mourning for Pope Francis, a pontiff whose simplicity and compassion touched billions. The Vatican's colonnades loom like silent sentinels, their marble cool against the morning chill. The Swiss Guard, an institution older than the Renaissance, stands in perfect formation, their halberds a forest of steel, their discipline the heartbeat of this sacred place. Lucas, at 27, is a veteran of this elite corps. His 14 years of service marked by flawless precision. His granite jaw and piercing blue eyes speak of a man forged by duty, but beneath his stoic exterior lies a heart shaped by moments of profound humanity. As he stands at his post, the weight of a hidden letter presses against his chest, a secret promise to the Pope that will soon test the very foundations of his oath. Lucas's journey to this moment began in a small Swiss village, where his father, a watchmaker, taught him the art of precision. Each tick of a clock, a lesson in patience, each gear a reminder of order. As a boy, Lucas dreamed of greater things, his imagination fired by stories of the Swiss Guard, warriors who protected the heart of the church. At age 2, he joined their ranks, trading the quiet of his village for the splendor of the Vatican. His service was exemplary, standing guard during papal audiences, escorting dignitaries, once even rescuing a lost child in St. Peter's Basilica. Her tearful gratitude, a memory he carries still. But it was a private moment with Pope Francis 3 years ago that changed him forever. In a quiet chamber, the Pope, his eyes warm with wisdom, placed a hand on Lucas's shoulder and said, "Sometimes the holiest act is to move when told to stand still." Those words, etched in Lucas's soul, now guide him as he touches the letter in his pocket. Its wax seal, a silent command from a man he revered. The funeral procession begins. A slow and mournful tide. The organ's deep notes roll through the square, each chord a lament that echoes in the hearts of the faithful. Pope Francis' simple cypress coffin, adorned only with a crucifix, emerges from the basilica, carried by priests whose faces are etched with sorrow. The crowd sways, some weeping, others clutching candles that flicker in the mist. Lucas stands rigid, his halberd a vertical line against the chaos of grief. Commandant Johann Schmidt's warning rings in his mind. If one guard moves, it dishonors the Pope himself. The Swiss Guard's protocol is ironclad. Stand still, show no emotion, embody the unchanging strength of the Church. Lucas has lived by these rules for over a decade, his body trained to obey, his mind disciplined to silence doubt. Yet the letter, tucked beneath his breastplate, burns like a coal. Its words a call to action he cannot ignore. The procession draws closer, the coffin now a focal point of reverence. The choir sings Jesus, "Remember me," its haunting melody weaving through the square, a prayer for mercy that stirs the soul. Lucas's gloved hand tightens around his halberd, a faint twitch betraying the storm within. The letter, penned by Pope Francis in his final days, is a personal charge, its contents known only to Lucas. He recalls the moment he received it, the Pope's frail hand trembling as he pressed it into his palm, his voice a whisper. The greatest discipline is knowing when movement serves a higher stillness. The words clash with the guard's rigid code, a paradox that tears at Lucas's heart. The camera pans to the crowd. President Macron of France, stoic but tearful. The Dalai Lama, serene in saffron robes. Cardinals murmuring prayers, all expecting the flawless tradition that has defined the Vatican for centuries. Lucas's jaw clenches, his blue eyes flickering with resolve, as he wrestles with the choice: obey the rules that define him, or honor the Pope's personal call. The tension escalates as the coffin nears, its wooden simplicity a stark contrast to the opulence of the square. A fellow guard, Corporal Elias Frey, glances at Lucas, sensing his unease, his own face a mask of concern. The protocol is absolute. The consequences severe movement could mean disgrace, dismissal, the end of a career Lucas has built with sweat and sacrifice. Yet the letter's weight is heavier. Its message, a beacon in the fog of duty. Father Paolo Ventresca, the Pope's former secretary, passes in the procession, his black cassock trailing on the marble. His eyes meet Lucas's, and he offers a subtle nod. A gesture so fleeting it could be imagined. Is it permission? Encouragement? Lucas's breath catches, his mind racing. The crowd's gaze feels like a physical force, their expectations. A chain around his boots. The choir's song swells, the coffin now mere steps away. And Lucas's boots, polished to a mirror shine, seem to pulse with the urge to move. In a moment that will echo through history, Lucas acts with a precision born of years of training. He takes one deliberate step forward, his boot striking the marble with a sound that cuts through the organ's lament. The crowd gasps, a collective intake of breath that ripples across the square. A cardinal pauses mid-blessing, his hand frozen in the air. A journalist's camera swivels, capturing the unthinkable. Lucas takes another step, his halberd steady, his movements as graceful as a dancer's. The world watches, billions, tuned to live broadcasts as he approaches the coffin, now resting before the basilica's steps. In a gesture of profound reverence, Lucas kneels, his armor clinking softly, and withdraws the letter from his pocket. The papal seal gleams in the misty light, a symbol of the man who wrote it. With steady hands, Lucas places the letter beneath the crucifix on the coffin, his fingers lingering for a moment. He whispers, Fodina riser, a private farewell in Latin, meaning, you have risen, my strength. The act takes 28 seconds, a breach of protocol that shatters centuries of tradition, yet carries a sanctity all its own. The square is silent, the organ's notes fading, the crowd too stunned to react. A child in the front row clutches her mother's hand, her eyes wide with awe. A German chancellor wipes a tear, moved by the guard's courage. Cardinal Favro, a traditionalist, frowns, his fingers tightening on his pectoral cross. Lucas Rieses steps back to his post and resumes his stoic pose, his face impassive but his heart pounding. The letter remains on the coffin, untouched, a silent testament to a bond between a guard and his pope. The procession continues, the priests lifting the coffin, the choir resuming its hymn, but the moment has changed everything. The crowd, once unified in grief, now buzzes with whispers, admiration, confusion, debate. The cameras zoom in, the letters seal, a focal point for a world grappling with what they have witnessed. In the days that follow, Lucas faces the consequences of his act. In a candlelit chamber deep within the Vatican, he stands before a tribunal of senior officials. Cardinal Favro, stern and unyielding. Commandant Schmid, his face etched with disappointment. And Archbishop Tremblay, a progressive whose eyes hold a glimmer of sympathy. The room is heavy with the scent of old wood and wax. The walls adorned with frescoes of saints who, too, defied convention. Lucas stands tall, his uniform immaculate, and defends his choice with quiet conviction. The Pope taught me that love can carry tradition forward. He says, quoting the letter's words, "If one man can honor that love bravely, he must." The tribunal deliberates. Their voice is low, their face is a mix of tradition and compassion. They spare Lucas punishment, but reassign him to the apostolic archives, a quiet removal from the public eye, a compromise that preserves the guard's image while acknowledging his intent. Weeks later, Lucas walks the silent halls of the archives, his boots echoing on ancient stone. The air is cool, the shelves lined with manuscripts that whisper of popes and councils long past. His uniform is simpler now, his halberd replaced by a keyring, but his purpose burns brighter. He patrols the stacks, his mind replaying that day in the square. The letters wait, now a memory of pride. A tour group passes, led by a priest who recounts the Vatican's history. A boy, no older than 10, spots Lucas and tugs at his mother's sleeve. "That's the guard who moved," he exclaims, his voice echoing in the vaulted hall. The group turns, their faces lighting with recognition. Lucas smiles, a rare softness in his granite features, and kneels to the boy's level. No rule is greater than the good it serves, he says, his words simple but profound. The boy beams, clutching a souvenir medal, and the group moves on, their whispers filled with awe. Lucas's act ripples beyond the Vatican. The letter, preserved in the papal archives, becomes a symbol of Francis's legacy, a call to balance tradition with compassion. Scholars debate its implications, priests preach on its courage, and pilgrims leave flowers at the basilica's steps, honoring the guard who dared to move. The Swiss guard, initially shaken, adopts a quiet pride in Lucas. Their training now including discussions on discernment, on when to act and when to stand. Cardinal Favro, in a rare public statement, calls the incident a moment of grace. However unorthodox, Commandant Schmid privately visits Lucas in the archives, offering a nod of respect, a silent acknowledgement of his courage. The world, watching through screens and newsreels, grapples with the question, was Lucas right to break tradition, or did he risk too much for a personal vow? Lucas, now a keeper of ancient texts, finds peace in his new role. He walks the Vatican gardens at dusk, the scent of jasmine heavy in the air, the dome of St. Peter's glowing against the twilight. His life is quieter, his service less visible, but no less profound. He thinks of his father, whose clocks taught him precision, and of Pope Francis, whose words taught him purpose. The letter, now a relic, is a reminder that loyalty sometimes demands the courage to move, to step into the unknown, to trust that love can carry tradition forward. The Vatican, with its timeless rituals and sacred spaces, continues its heartbeat. Steady, its story enriched by a God who dared to act. The story of Lucas Bowman is a call to all of us to weigh the rules we live by, to question when they serve and when they stifle, to find the courage to act when conviction demands it. It is a story of a man who, in 28 seconds, honored a pope, a faith, and a truth greater than himself. It challenges us to ask, when tradition clashes with love, when duty conflicts with heart, what will we choose? Was Lucas right to break centuries of protocol, to place a letter and a prayer above the stillness of his post? Sometimes, the holiest act is the one that moves us forward, that dares to shift the ticking of time to a different rhythm. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to choose between tradition and what felt right? Did you stand still, or did you find the courage to move? Share your story in the comments below. Tell us about the choices that defined you, the moments that tested your heart, the lessons that linger still. If you're moved by stories like Lucas's stories of duty, courage, and the quiet acts that change the world, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Join us for more tales that inspire, that challenge, that remind us of the strength within us all every single day.